I want to 10x your effective AI usage and put you in the 1% of users in this singular video. It's going to sound a little complicated up front, but I promise it's going to be simple and it's going to set you up for life. We are going to cover how to effectively use master prompts, system prompts, and custom instruction sets, and how to put it all together either into custom GPTs or projects if you're using ChatGPT. This can also be used on Claude, Grok, and Gemini as well. Just the terminology is slightly different, but the process is the same. Before we dive in, if you don't know much about me, I never went to college. I hit six figures by 23. I then took a 2-year break and returned with a 65% pay cut. And since then, I've quadrupled my salary and achieved 9 promotions. As a career coach, I've helped over 400 clients since 2023, hit 97% of their goals, and boost salaries by over $3 million. My name is Zach. My systems work. And today, we're going to make you a 1% ChatGPT or AI user. So before we dive in, I want to give a little bit of context. Sounds a little bit nerdy when I'm talking master prompt, system prompt, custom instruction set. So I essentially want to simplify each of these things for you into basic terms. So a master prompt is going to be your master reference document about you. And this is going to come into play that you might have multiple master documents depending on the context in which you are having ChatGPT, Gemini, anybody or any of the LLMs helping you. So for instance, I myself might have a master prompt related to my job as a senior IT manager working for a company called AAPL, the fact that I oversee 2 direct reports and 2 vendors and software development, AI implementation and design, and other things inside of our organization. I then might have one where maybe I'm having my first son at the end of the year, and so maybe I might have something to where ChatGPT is my parent assistant. Maybe if I'm struggling with different behaviors or different scheduling or different things like that, that I could have it help me with that. So I'm going to give it details about this. So essentially, the master prompt is the context of you in which ChatGPT is helping you. So you might have multiple of these, and the more niche you go, the better. Right. So again, thinking about all the different hats I wear between content creation, husband, father, again, IT leader, career coach, right? I might have master prompts for each of these different avenues in my life. System prompts are the same concept, but for the AI in which you are using it. Now, if you want to get real technical about the term, you don't have access to change the system prompt per se. That is truly what, whether it's Anthropic or OpenAI or Google, like what they have behind the scenes. So I'm stealing that terminology of how they have scoped in the behaviors and the role and et cetera of the LLM and stealing that for our own use. So the system prompt is the context then for ChatGPT, for Gemini, for Grok, or whoever, as to what it is doing for you and what it is assisting you with. So again, if we stick with the career side of the equation, since that's the core part of this channel, if I was maybe struggling getting high performance out of one of my team players, then I would say, so it has my master prompt, and then this is going to make ChatGPT or whatever LLM I'm referring to, you are going to be an expert in building high-performing teams, getting the best out of people, determining the motivators and incentive structures, taking into account personality types. You're an expert psychoanalyst, these sorts of different aspects. And then, again, this information is going to be written out into a master system prompt, if you will, or something that you can be used repeatedly throughout your overall interactions with the LLM. And then the last is the custom instruction set. And these are unique to the project or the custom GPT that we are getting to. So I want to help you build those out for repeatable context and let you know when to use each of them accordingly. Okay, so first and foremost, I'm now going to share my screen here in which you will see how we go about building a master prompt. And I'm not going to necessarily go through the whole process because you will fully understand why I'm not showing you this whole process, as it would take an immense amount of time in this video. So here is something a way to start this conversation out. Essentially, you want to use the AI to build this for you, but you need to give it the information to do so. And yes, this is going to take some time, like I mentioned. So we start out here by saying, hey, I need you to help me craft a master prompt that will provide context to you about my current job role. Senior IT manager, oversee IT cloud infrastructure, software development, AI technology for an organization with their name. I am responsible for 2 vendors, 2 direct reports, and report to the director of IT. Provide me a complete questionnaire for additional information you would need for a master prompt containing all the context about my role, my organization, and other information needed for you to be an effective assistant in helping me with this job. So as you can see here, it produced for me a massive questionnaire, right? I mean, we're talking 57 different questions, right? But spread across my role snapshot, the organization context, reporting and stakeholders, vendors, priorities and projects, KPIs, cloud infrastructure, software development lifecycle, data integrations, compliance, ITSM, AI automation, all these things. And it even gave me priorities, right? So it even says, hey, if you're short on time, then do the 12 priority marked with a star. And so I will tell you the voice benefit in this concept is going to be crucial. So you can just come down here and hit the dictation icon and answer all these questions through voice. So you don't have to type out the answers to 51 questions. But this will result in a very, very long master prompt that you can now use when you either start conversations about your job. It can be used when you're building a project or a custom GPT in the future. Again, this is your master reference document about who you are and your situation. And so as your job role changes, as your personal life role changes, your master prompt might change. And then what's nice is you really have to do the bulk of this work once, in a sense that depending on how big the change is, you know, if you maybe aren't changing companies, but you just got promoted or something like that, then you can say, upload that master prompt and say, hey, ChatGPT, I need to update this because I got promoted, or I need to update this because our organization structure changed, whatever it might be. And so then you can just have it modify that piece. You now have an updated master prompt and you're good to go. Okay. Now, second thing is going to be the system prompt. And so this can be something that you can actually, again, build with it. So let's say you maybe want to have ChatGPT help you out with writing an email. So you can just say something like, I need you to write an email to Brian, letting him know how awesome this last week was, and put it in a Canvas output. So this is something that the Canvas is going to help us out here for manipulating this and iterating on it over and over and over again. Now, the Canvas is something that is unique to ChatGPT. I do not believe Claude has an equivalent, and I'm unsure if Grok or Gemini has an equivalent. So this specifically is going to be a ChatGPT related feature. So what we're going to do here is we can read this, and let's just say that we hit the edit button and we now come into this. And you can either edit directly into this document, right? Or you can give it suggestions here in the edit button. If we also come here, you have a number of features such as adding emojis or adding the final polish or the reading level, things of that nature. So we could hit reading level and we can increase it, right? Most things, depending on the widespread audience, or if you're going for a widespread audience, you actually want to go with this where it kind of goes, this current reading level default to middle school, as most studies show that you kind of want to be around that 7th to 8th grade reading level. You can obviously adjust the length, making it more verbose and long. So let's just mess with some stuff here, and let's go shorter, and then let's make it more sophisticated, and then let's also, I don't know, come in here and say that we actually want to replace all of these ending periods with semicolons because that's what we like to do at the end of bullets. Again, this is just a quick live demo to get you to understand, right, what we're trying to do here, but we want some consistency. And then we can also say, all right, so now, so while keeping the changes we made in Canvas, I'd also like you to make it more humorous while still being professional. And for some reason, it turned on Canva, which I do not want. And I cannot spell. So the great thing about Canvas is it keeps what you have in a nutshell without entirely starting over from scratch. We all have experienced this, right? Where it, you tell ChatGPT, oh, like this is nice, but make it funnier or make it this, whatever it might be, right? And then it just kills everything and it completely starts over. And you're like, well, I mean, I didn't want to start over 100%. I wanted to start over 10%. Right. And so you could see here, it kept semicolons at the end. And so now we could be like, oh, this was a perfect email, right? Or actually, something that's common is the M dashes, right? That a lot of people say. So we could sit here and come in here and replace all of our M dashes with commas. And I don't know if I hit all of them or not, but oh, no, we got this last one here. So let's say this is perfect. So now we can say, generate for me a system prompt that would have resulted in this complete email style from the first time I requested this email. Should be complete, comprehensive, and consistently result in all the stylistic changes. Okay, so we're essentially just saying, hey, now give me a system prompt for this that would always result in this the first time. And so it's going to think, it's going to create a system prompt. And this is what's going to allow you to be more and more and more consistent. Okay, I would really venture to have you begin to think about your prompts and your tools and your projects and your custom GPTs almost as like your individual intellectual property. This is how you get AI to be your assistant, to be your workflow automator, to take you to the next level. This is the foundation, right? I am an AI powered career coach, meaning that I not only have a lot of good foundations I've helped coach clients over with years, but I would be the worst career coach in the world if I was not preparing and educating my clients and my audience on using AI in your professional career. That is going to set none of us up for success in any single capacity. So if we close our canvas here, we can see, all right, so we got concise professional writer, we got energetic, tasteful, we got the humor in here. So it kept the horizontal rule. I imagine somewhere in here we have the semicolon, end each bullet with a semicolon, right? So it just captured all of that. Now this can be used along with, let's say, your master prompt. Okay. And you can build these things out depending on your repeated use cases over and over and over again to then go into a project or a custom GPT, which then both use a custom instruction set on top of it. So if I were to go into a project that I use quite frequently is my AI prompt writer. Okay, so this is something. So what's cool about projects is you literally just hit new project. It will ask you a name, and then you can upload either files or a custom instruction set. So I have files here. So this is literally my AI prompt writer. So whenever I'm like, I need to do this thing, but I want to start with an effective prompt, and I don't know which prompt engineer stack to do. So I have 3 different documents in here that have a bunch of different prompt engineering best practices and a bunch of prompt engineering frameworks and stacks and agentic workflows. And essentially, this is a knowledge base. Think of this as like your reference document. If you use Evernote, if you use Confluence, Notion, etc., this is the knowledge base for this self-contained project. Okay. And then we have a custom instruction set. And this is where this is telling this project what its contextual purpose is, what the flow should be, these sorts of different things. And so this is one that is much more of a SOP type of project. So it's doing this and then this and then this, right? So it's gathering the requirements, then it's designing the prompt, and then it's iterating and refining. And then it can provide me documentation and knowledge transfer to say, hey, this is why I chose this prompt. This is why I chose this engineering stack, etc. Some ethical considerations, things of that nature. Now, if this was something to where I wanted it to write prompts specifically for my company, I would then upload in the files my master prompt about me and being in my company. So it has all of that context when writing those prompts. So it can build all of that in from the get go instead of you maybe having to upload documentation about your job description, about your job role, or telling it about your technology stack or who you report to, right? It has all of that built in. Same thing with the system prompt. You would save those to documents and put them here. And then the custom instruction set, like I said, is how it operates and how it works. Now, if we hop over to building a GPT, so if we come over to the GPT section, I have quite a few here. And so link down below is actually this one, my promoted AI. This thing is awesome. If you this is just the core 24/7 AI coach that will get you from any crossroads to forward momentum. I promise you. Test it out, have fun, check it out. Okay. Um, so if we go into how this thing is built, so when you go to build a GPT, it's going to say, hey, what's the name? What's the description? Here's our custom instruction set. What are some sample conversation starters? And what are our files? And then what does it have access to? Does it have access to the web or Canvas or this or that, right? So this is where, again, you can really have some fun, but it depends on how you want each of these to be used. So there's two key distinctions as to whether or not you want a custom GPT or you want a project. Okay. So a custom GPT is going to be used when what you want or what you need is going to be a one-off conversation. So it is going to be trained. Actually, let me reshare to you, for instance, right? So if I come back into that promoted AI, right, to where I was like, hey, I have a big decision to make. And so I have it in thinking mode right now. So this is going to take a little bit. I apologize for the length of this demo. I probably should have just swapped it to regular fast mode. But we have our decision. So it's going to be pretty straightforward. Okay, so I am choosing between going to Cedar Point or King's Dominion for my birthday. I don't know which one to do. I love roller coasters. I'm actually just going to stop this and start it over. And we're just going to change our thinking to the auto and we will start over. All right. So I have a big decision to make. And let's actually make something in a career crossroads here. So I am torn between telling my leadership that I can't do any further work until I have completed what I have or not. This comes with risk to my reputation, but I really need to knock out current priorities and am unsure whether to take this tactic or how to approach it. The alternative is burnout and overwork and time away from my family. Okay. So it acknowledged this, right? So simply, and so it's going to say, here's our trade-off test, etc. And so let's just say that we wanted to pick this conversation back up. I would have to come back to this specific conversation where if I started a brand new conversation with the AI tool, I couldn't say, can you help me with the discussion we were talking about previously? Okay, it starts over. So this is where you're going to use a custom GPTs. If you need a consistent type of conversation or a consistent output or something of the like, but it's going to be unique every time. It is its own instance. The project is going to retain context, learn you further and further and further over time. So as you refine the outputs, as you tell it what you like, what you dislike, pros and cons and things of that throughout the whole interaction, it will learn with you over time about what it is that you like. And you could say, hey, can we pick up that conversation? Here's my update. So this is what I decided to do. I decided to tell my leadership that I was overworked and that I needed to finish my current work until I took on new ones. And they responded by saying, well, no, you either have to burn out or you're not going to be here anymore, whatever it might be. Like you can pick up from that conversation and then have it walk you through that. So that is your key distinction. But again, I want to sum this up here real quick because I don't want this video to go on too long. But this is how you get into the 1% of AI usage to 10x your output consistently. Is build your master prompts, which are the roles of who you are and the details of your situation. Build your system prompts, which are the context for the AI. What role is it playing? How is it doing it? What are the guidelines in which it needs to do it? And then put that all together along with additional context and maybe other information, either external sources or knowledge bases, etc., with the custom instruction set to say how to use all these things. The custom instruction set will say, hey, the master prompt gives you the context about me. The system prompt gives you context about my situation. Here's how I want this conversation flow to go, or here's what your ultimate role, function, guidelines, ethical boundaries, etc. are going to be. Again, that is the instructions of its actual operating system. That is the way to think about this. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to comment below what is going to be the first project or GPT you're going to build, and why are you choosing a project or a GPT? What is your first master prompt that you're going to build and your first system prompt that you're going to build? I want to know the first things that you're going to build after watching this video. I want you to comment below. I also, again, want you to check out if you are stuck, if you are unsure about anything in your career, check out the Promoted AI below. There will also be a sign up for the masterclass on October 31st. It is completely free of using AI to progress your career and take yourself to the next level. It will be a free masterclass with live bonuses October 31st. Sign up below, check out Promoted AI. And if you want a holistic approach with all of my AI tools, all of my AI prompts, my downloadable resources, video walkthroughs, weekly coaching sessions twice a week, a growing community, start your 7-day trial of the Promoted Career Acceleration Community, also linked in the description below. Leave a comment, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any more of these Friday Prompt and Profit videos. Get seen, get paid, get promoted, my friends.